People often ask a powerful question.
Where did God come from?
What created
Good question. Who created God?
What created God?
I'm sure you can tell me where God came from.
You're going to postulate a God as a first cause. You've then got a really big problem explaining where the God came from.
Where did dust come from? It came from the cores of stars. And where did that come from? And then ultimately get to the Big Bang. Then he said, where did the Big Bang come from? And I said, I have no idea. You want to put God there? I don't have a problem with that. But why won't you allow me to ask you, where did God come from?
Who created God? At first, it sounds logical, because everything we see in the universe seems to have a cause. Buildings have builders, paintings have painters, and children have parents. But let's examine this question carefully using logic and mathematics. Suppose God had a creator. Let's call God G0. If someone created God, then there must be a creator, G1. But then we must ask, who created G1? That would require G2. And then we must ask, who created G2, leading to G3, then G4, and G5, continuing endlessly. Mathematically, this forms an infinite chain of creators, G0, G1, G2, G3, G4, stretching toward infinity. Every being depends on a previous being for its existence. But here lies the problem. If every cause requires another cause before it, then the chain never actually begins. Imagine a race where every runner must wait for the runner before them to start first. If there are infinitely many runners behind them, the race would never start. In mathematics, we would say the system never reaches an initial condition. And if the chain of causes never begins, then creation itself would still be waiting to happen. But clearly the universe exists. We are here. Therefore, the chain cannot be infinite. Logic forces us to conclude that there must exist a being that was not created, a being that does not depend on anything before it, a being that simply exists by its own nature. Philosophers call this the first cause. In mathematical terms, it would be a cause C, such that the cause of C is nothing, an uncaused cause, a being that is eternal. Thousands of years ago, the Bible described exactly this idea. It begins with the words, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." God is not presented as part of creation, but as the source of creation itself. Later, when Moses asked God for his name, God replied, "I am who I am." Not I was created, not I began, but simply I am, the eternal present. Another passage says, "Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God." So the question, who created God, assumes something that cannot be true. If God had a creator, we would fall into an endless chain of creators, and creation would never begin. But because the universe exists, there must be an eternal first cause, a being without beginning and without creator, a being the Bible calls God.